Hello and welcome everyone, Stormy Sensei here. Quickly making sure that audio is good, audio is good. Tonight we got a little special content for you. We're going to go over the Nintendo Direct. Today is the 12th of February. On the 9th of February, Nintendo had a Direct. It was about 40 minutes worth of content where they went over games that are coming out sometime in 2022. I watched it live, and I watched it directly from Nintendo's channel, and I had some thoughts about it that I'll make very clear very early on in this stream. And I saw that there were like a lot of other content out there that also live reacted to it, but I wasn't really feeling any of the other live reactions, so I was at work during this during the original broadcast, so the way that I have to do it is in post. So here I am. No Silk Song, exactly. Terrible Direct, right? Anyway, hello there to Pi, Captain Falco, Your Troopers, Andy Miller. How's everyone doing tonight? I actually tried to do a test stream earlier where I tried watching this on YouTube, and it was terrible, as you'd imagine. Like, every time I try to watch YouTube and show it on stream, it's very bad. But luckily, they have the entire thing right here in the Nintendo News section. I almost downloaded the YouTube app on my Switch just so that I could look at this, but no need. Quickly look at, spoiler alert. Come on, all. It's time for the Nintendo Direct. Please watch the video for new game reveals, announcements, and surprises beamed directly to you. Alright, I do love a Direct. Let me just quickly see what the controls here are. I can increase the speed and just press the A button to pause. Good. Hopefully the sound is good. Also, hopefully I don't get a cease and desist from Nintendo. It would be kind of weird for them to do that because live channels were live reacting, and like you could watch this on IGN, but who knows with Nintendo. Alright, so Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. They start off kind of strong here, actually. I love Warriors games. I played Dynasty Warriors 4, I played Dynasty Warriors 3, I played Dynasty Warriors 8, and I've also played Hyrule Warriors. So I generally just love these types of games, even the ones that aren't made by Koei Tecmo or like Omega Force. Like, I've played 99 Nights. It's just something about the 1 versus 1000 gameplay, or the Muso as they're called. I think it would be very interesting to experience the story of Three Houses with the gameplay of a Warriors game. Three Houses has been on my to-buy list for a while, but I haven't gotten around to it. I have a really big backlog. I have like almost 200 games on my wish list on the eShop.
I won't make the same mistake again.
I just love how you can just like have so much difficulty curve. Like, you can have like really easy stuff where you have like hordes and hordes of enemies and they're all super weak, and then just very small gameplay changes, such as now the enemies don't flinch when you hit them, or they kill you in one hit. Makes it like suddenly more difficult. I might actually pick this one up.
Hello everyone, I'm Shinya Takahashi, and I'll be your guide for today's Nintendo Direct. What you just saw was the trailer for the Fire Emblem.
It's interesting that you say that, Your Troopers, about Future Connected. I actually was thinking about getting Definitive Edition, because my playthrough on stream of Xenoblade Chronicles was very like story based. I hardly did any side questing at all, and I would like to do I would like to get the definitive edition so that I could play through more complete version of it.
In the first campaign,
We already knew about Advance Wars 1 plus 2. I think that they gave us a release date for during this direct. I played Advance Wars 1 on the Game Boy Advance, or was it no, it was the DS. It had to be the DS.
Another full campaign awaits.
Actually, I think I played both. I think I played 1 and 2.
More commanding officers and more diverse terrain can be leveraged for
I think I did, at
tactical
least.
opportunities, like blasting through pipelines to cross into enemy territory.
It's pretty good gameplay. I'll probably get this. This is on my wish list for sure.
For a smoother tactical experience. Flex your strategic muscles outside of both campaigns.
And then you can do
with
like
additional modes.
battles with people.
Go for
It's
high
trying
scores
nice.
in the war room.
Never played a
Create
Warriors
and share
game.
custom maps
They're
in the
pretty
design
fun.
room. Or battle friends
It's just
and
like,
frenemies in
you
local
know,
and online
there's something
multiplayer.
soothing about, you know, just having so much control over the entire battlefield.
Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp marches onto the
April
Nintendo
8th.
Switch system April 8th.
We're definitely not getting it in
Pre-orders are
on
available
April
now
8th,
on
that's for
Nintendo
sure.
eShop. Explore
The
an
direct was
infinite
trash, Game
universe.
Master. Well, you got the poll right there.
In No Man's Sky, every star is the light. of a
So
distant
this
sun.
game is not very. I'm not very interested in
Each
this,
orbited by
honestly.
planets
No Man's
teeming with
Sky.
life.
I know that it
Travel to planets
was
of your
very, very
choosing
hyped
in
a
this
couple of years
infinite,
ago,
procedurally
and then it
generated
released, and everyone was
universe.
very, very upset
Here,
about it
you'll
because it was
discover
like a lot of
extraordinary
nothingness.
lands and creatures that
And
have
then
never
they
been
had
seen before.
lots and lots of patches. Like it took them a year to fix it after it was already released. But eventually people actually said this is actually now a really good game now that they've done all these updates to it. So it was probably a really good experience. Honestly, if you haven't played it already, it's probably worth playing. It's not really my type of game though.
Pirates hunt unwary travelers.
You want to buy Oninaki? Oh, that's great. I'm so glad that my channel is able to do things like that.
And actions have
I loved that
consequences.
game. It's one of my favorite playthroughs on the channel.
Fighter. Explore.
Also, hello there to Demon, Meme
How
Master,
will
Alex,
you live in this universe?
and Matthew.
No Man's Sky lands on Nintendo Switch this summer.
So sometime this summer, No Man's Sky. This one, everyone was really, really excited about. Mario Strikers. I'm lukewarm to it. I actually played Mario Strikers on the GameCube. It was pretty good fun. Like my brothers and I, you know, the three of us would play all the time. Because we had like a whole bunch of multiplayer games. So we played this among all the other multiplayer games. It wasn't like our favorite or anything like that. Also, the gameplay gets kind of degenerate because slide tackling is kind of broken. You can just kind of foul everyone on the field. And it was almost optimal because the only thing that you get in exchange for that is you give the opposing team an item.
Prepare for Stripe, a 5-on-5 sport like soccer that's way heavy on offense.
So like I don't know if they're going to balance that out because that was kind of super degenerate, but maybe this will be pretty fun. I don't think that I'll probably get this. Games like this are really great when you have siblings, where you have like a group of friends that all have the game. As like an adult that mostly is the only person that plays the games in the house, you really have to rely on an online community. And like there's no guarantee that a lot of people from my community or any other community is going to get this, or it's probably, if they do get it, it's probably going to be like a 1-month fad, very similar to like Mario Golf or Mario Tennis for the Switch. You never know, it could end up being like Mario Kart, which will last for like 10 years or something like that, who knows. But I'm sure that it will be a very fun game for whatever group of people want to play it for as long as they want to play it, but I don't think that it'll be on my list.
Up to 8 players, 4 players on each team can compete against each other on one Nintendo Switch system. In addition to individual
If I were still living at home though,
online
I
play
definitely would
will
buy
have an
this.
Online club mode. Join an in-game club and compete for placement in the rankings. Up to 20 players can join a club. So create your own and invite friends and family to play alongside you. Or join an existing one owned by other players. Try to become the world's top club. With items
even if you're not interested in Fire Emblem Warriors is very different. Like Fire Emblem is like a tactical grid-based RPG with a lot of like conversations and like building relationships between characters with some skill trees and whatnot. Fire Emblem Warriors is like kill a bunch of enemies, get experience points, get stronger, get a better weapon, kill even more enemies.
Series is coming to Nintendo Switch. We hope you're excited for this anything goes battle soccer game. Next, please take a look at
We need to be
this.
the best of strikers. I mean, if we choose another game, then we can go hard on it. Speaking of going hard in a game, like, you know, this was the Splatoon 3. I don't know why people felt really weird about this trailer. I don't really know why. They were like, oh, the music's weird. And I was like, have you never played a Splatoon game before? The music is always kind of like off. Like it's got that, you know, from the year 4000 type of vibe in it. I thought this was actually a really good evolution of Salmon Run. Like, I don't really play Salmon Run very often because it's cooperative and I'm more of a competitive type of guy. Also, Salmon Run was only available during certain times of the day, and sometimes you just get on and Salmon Run isn't available. But I like the fish stick, I like the ring tosser, and I even like the fact that you now only get to carry one orb at a time, but you get to throw it. I think that adds a lot more tactics to it. Also, if you have a long-ranged weapon, like a Gatling gun, you no longer have to like give up your good positioning in order to actually collect the orbs. You can just leave it to your melee people to grab them. That's so sick. How do people like look at that and be like, well, I guess you have to play the original Salmon Run to know the significance of this trailer. But like, you used to be able to carry 3 at a time, but you had to like walk up to them and you couldn't throw them anywhere. Also, that was a new special that we'd never seen before, so that's also pretty interesting. Look at all this teamwork that you can do here. The premise behind Salmon Run is you're like collecting salmon eggs, but like they don't like the fact that you're collecting their eggs. I have been meaning to do a Splatoon 1, Splatoon 2 story mode playthroughs on this channel. Just haven't gotten around to it yet. I need to like learn how to delete my Wii U save file or save data.
That was the trailer for the co-op mode in the Splatoon 3 game. The next wave of Salmon Run. A giant salmonid, one that's never been seen before, was also spotted at the end of the trailer. Will the Inklings and Octolings ink or swim?
Summer
Splatoon 3 will launch
2022.
this summer. We hope you'll look forward to future
We'll probably
updates.
get that when it releases, I'd imagine.
Let's move on to more.
Like, hopefully they
Nintendo
have some sort of
Switch
like test fire thing, like they did with Splatoon 2, so you can just kind of play it without having to worry too much about it. Alright, this is pretty important stuff here. So, first off, when I saw this trailer, I was like, oh man, are they bringing back the Mech Warrior series to the consoles? Because growing up, I played Mech Warrior 1, not Mech Warrior 2, 1. I played Mech Warrior 2 and Mech Warrior 3, and I also played Mech Assault. So these are like this is a series of games called Mech Warrior, and you basically are piloting a giant robot, but it's like super realistic. So like, you have firing your weapons generates heat, and if you overheat, then your weapons start malfunctioning, and they have to like cool off and whatnot. So you can like fire from water in order to cool off faster and things like that. And you can customize your gear, so you can like shoot out lasers that don't run out of ammo, but they generate heat really quickly. Or you can shoot with guns, but they run out of ammo eventually. And you can like destroy parts of enemies, like you can destroy just the arms so they can't hurt you anymore or shoot you anymore. You can shoot off their weapons and things like that. You can shoot off a leg and then they can't like chase you anymore. So that was pretty exciting that you could do those back in the day, and it was a really great game series. The last game that I played in that franchise was Mech Assault for the Xbox. And then after that, all the future games only released on PC, which is very unfortunate. I wasn't a PC gamer growing up as a kid. We were all about consoles. So I thought that this was that, and it is not. But they have a lot of features that are kind of the same from it.
Full remake of the first Front Mission game is
So this
Stormy
is
on
Front
the
Mission
Nintendo Switch.
first, which is a Square Enix game. So
In this
that's really
tactical
all that you need to know, or that's all that I need to know in order to say like, yeah, I could probably see myself buying that. But you just look here, right? You've got terrain, right? Easy to maneuver. So like you have movement hindrances and you have defense buffs based off of what terrain you're in. And it's a grid-based tactics game. So it should be similar to like Fire Emblem. It should be similar to Final Fantasy Tactics. It should be similar to Triangle Strategy, which is what we're going to be getting in a couple of weeks here. And so grid-based tactics strategy game made by Square Enix. And on top of that, you're using giant mechs the whole time. And actually, let's see that part again. Did I go too far back? I probably went way too far back.
A full remake of the first Front Mission game is Stormy onto Nintendo Switch. In this tactical RPG, you'll pilot weaponized machines called Panzers and lead your battalion to victory.
Gain the upper
You see that there? Well, for one thing, you get experience points for even attacking, very much like Fire Emblem. Most RPGs, you only get experience points for killing. But, you know, you have their arms and body. So you can actually, just like a mech warrior, you can actually attack different parts of their body. I don't know why they would attack their body instead of their legs here, because they had the least HP. But, like, there's what's it called? Expression. You're able to, like, play different ways.
Aiming for enemy parts to destroy.
I guess the thing that you would all probably be familiar with be the Fallout series. So in Fallout, you're able to aim at different body parts, and it has different accuracy depending on where the character is facing. So that's probably what you all would remember when you think of being able to attack particular body parts, I suppose. You can actually reuse save data in the settings. I've tried that, and I've tried erasing it, and it didn't take. I think because there was some sort of cloud backup or something. I'll have to figure it out. It's a issue for future Stormy to figure out. But you get to customize your build with what it looks like and how it, which weapons you carry, and you get to have this crazy story as well. And on top of that, it's available just this summer. We probably won't get it like immediately, but Front Mission 2 also coming out in the future. Good stuff to look forward to.
Get set for a high-octane Disney and Pixar combat racer. From the creators of the Asphalt series comes rip-roaring racing action across Disney.
Now,
and
this
Pixar-inspired
one is
racetracks.
something I'm definitely not
Race
going
as
to
a
be
legendary
getting
roster of
personally.
characters on high-speed circuits, using each
I'm
one's
sure that it
special
is
abilities
very
to battle
fun.
for victory
It
across
looks
the
very
finish line.
similar to like
Choose Mickey
Crash
Mouse for
Bandicoot
surprise
or
speed,
Mario
Sully
Kart
for
8, things
monstrous
like that.
power, or Mulan for explosive
But
maneuvers.
games like this are only
Each
good when you
racer
have
also
like
possesses
lots of people to
powerful
play with.
ultimate skills, perfect for turning the tables at the last second.
And yeah,
Disney
I'm not going to
Speedstorm
get
is a
this.
free-to-play game with new
Why are you
seasons
giving us
added
a sales
regularly,
pitch?
bringing more exciting Disney and Pixar characters.
I'm just explaining how
circuits,
exciting the game
cars,
is.
and
Like,
more.
just look at it. Like,
Plus, enjoy cross-platform play as well as split-screen and online multiplayer modes. Disney Speedstorm races onto Nintendo Switch this summer. Dive into these classic franchises on Nintendo Switch. Unleash the power of
this
the Force
one
in
really
this
got me
classic Star
thinking.
Wars
I have Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 on the Xbox 360. I got it as a gift one Christmas, but I never played the Star Wars The Force Unleashed 1. And the story, I think, is supposed to be... I think it's supposed to take place before A New Hope, or is it supposed to be between The Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope? I forget. But basically, Darth Vader has this Sith apprentice, basically, and this is the character that you're playing as in these games, and you're kind of like going about and doing things. What does for cloud mean? That means that you can't actually, well, so if it's available for the cloud, then that means you can buy it, and then it doesn't actually take up any disk space or any memory space on your console, but rather you connect to the internet and you play it on the developer servers. Which means that if you lose your internet connection, then your gameplay gets interrupted. That usually doesn't really happen for me very often, because like that would be like me disconnecting from Unite or being kicked from a lobby in Smash or something like that, and that happens like maybe once or twice a year, I'd say.
You'll use devastating force powers and lightsaber combos as you hunt down.
So like I was thinking like, should I get this game? Because like then I could have Star Wars Unleashed, The Force Unleashed, and the Force Unleashed 2 on the channel, and that'd be kind of nice. But I suppose if it's available, then I can just buy it at any time in the future, and then if I decide to play it at that point in time, then I'll have it. I actually have... Oh wait, no, never mind. I'm thinking about something else. I was thinking about the fact that they just came out with the Lego Star Wars Skywalker saga. That seems kind of interesting, because like they're basically movies that you play out as video games. And I actually have the Harry Potter collection for the Lego games as well. So like, you know, maybe I'll play that at some point in time. Maybe, not quite sure. Could be fun. Why is everyone freaking out about Kingdom Hearts being on cloud? Because you don't get to own it. Like, at some point in time in the future, like, okay, let me put it this way. If you wanted to buy a game off of the Wii shop, you couldn't. You can't right now, because the Wii shop is discontinued. If you wanted to play Penguin Club, you can't, because it's dead. If you wanted to listen to your music off of Spiral Frog, you can't, because it's been discontinued. So the issue here is that if you buy a physical copy of Kingdom Hearts and you have it on your Switch, you know, 5 or 50 years from now, if you were like, oh man, remember that game on the Switch? That was so cool. You could just pop it into the Switch and you play it and it would work just fine. But if it's cloud service only, then there's a good chance that at some point in time in the future you'll just not be able to play it, even if you pay for it. And that's why I'm freaking out about Kingdom Hearts being on cloud rather than being released. I don't know about other people. Other people could be like, oh, but if I have a bad internet connection, or what if I want to like walk from one room to the other and my Wi-Fi gives out? But like, that's not a concern for me.
Switch April 20th. Pre-orders begin today on Nintendo eShop. The complete saga of legendary assassin Ezio Auditore da Firenze awaits in 3
I think I have Assassin's Creed 2. It was one of the free games of the month on Xbox Live Gold. This would probably be good. I mean, it's really like well received among gamers generally speaking.
Plus, take advantage of enhanced features for the Nintendo Switch system on the go.
I'm kind of lukewarm on it. Like I'm glad that it's here. Maybe sometime in the future I'll get it. It was better. I'm glad that it's on Switch, because if I were to play it, now I can get it on the Switch instead of getting on the Xbox 360. Now this one, I'm very interested in this game. It's because, for one thing, it's an action RPG. Another thing is Gundam. For another thing, it's a bunch of different Gundam things. It's like Gundams across all the different franchises together. And I'm a big fan of Mobile Suit Gundam Wing, because it came out during my formative years. I gotta pause before we go on that one. So like, you know, when I was first being introduced to anime, one of the keystone anime that I watched was Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. So, like, I do have a soft spot in my heart for that, and seeing the I only remember what the name of the thing is because it's been so many years since I actually watched it, but seeing the Crimson guy on the left fighting Wing Zero on the right, like, I want to do that. Yeah, these robots in particular are called Gundam. Not every mobile suit or mecha is a Gundam. That's a particular brand. That's an anime series. Bandai Namco makes a whole bunch of games based off of them. And they're generally very good games. Yeah, I've played a couple of them over the years. But this one's probably very interesting. I don't know if I would stream this one. I'd probably just like get it and then just play it myself. What I'll probably do is I'll put it on the wish list, and then whenever Bandai Namco goes on a sale, because like they always go on sales, I'll just buy it because it'll be like 70% off.
Two worlds cross in the triumphant return of this RPG classic. A remaster of the acclaimed RPG
was ecstatic
Chrono
to
Cross
see
is coming
this
to
be
the
announced.
Nintendo Switch system.
Chrono Cross is the sequel to Chrono Trigger, one of my favorite RPGs ever. When I played it as a teenager, I couldn't appreciate it as its own thing. I kept on expecting it to blow my mind like Chrono Trigger did. But you know, I'm going to be looking forward to this. Like, I'm super buying it, super buying it. Most of the things that people complain about with this game is that there's so many characters. So like the way that they do the game is they have like dialogue, and then they'll just basically oops, did not mean to do that at all. Skipped way too far over. So they have like particular dialogue in place, and depending on which characters you have, they'll have different flavor text. And people would say things like, "Oh, it's like they may as well like not even have these as characters. There are too many characters. They're not each individual." But I think you're just supposed to choose your favorite. Just pick whoever your favorite characters are, say that they are the main characters, and then play through the game like that. Or just, you know, choose a number of them. And then you can have like different challenge playthroughs where you like decide which one you're going to get, and like sometimes you get one character, then like that's some other character's arch nemesis and they would never join your party because of it. So it adds different playability, or replayability I should say. Combat system is very interesting in this. A lot of the current RPG trends kind of come from this game, where like you have a certain number of turns, or a certain number of actions that you can do in one turn, and you can do all those actions, right? Or you can use more actions than you have available, and then that kind of puts you into action debt, so you skip a couple of turns. So if you recall, like Bravely Default, where you have the brave and defaulting, so you can actually go into the negative and like skip a couple of turns. Or if you think about Octopath Traveler, or if you think about I guess like Pokemon Strong Style versus Quick Style in Legends Arceus. Like all of those, this was the first game that I was introduced to that did that. I don't know if it was the first one to do it, but it's the first one that I played that did it. Chrono Cross is definitely on the playlist. And it's got to be backlogged because it has to be played after Chrono Trigger, because this one comes with Radical Dreamer as well. So we're going to do Chrono Trigger, and then we're going to do Radical Dreamer, and then Chrono Cross. But I'm going to buy it the day that it releases. I want to signal to Square Enix, please make more games and release them on the Switch. So we live in a capitalist society. Gotta vote with my dollars.
Originally released on the Satellaview is included.
So I've always been interested about this game because it kind of explains the concepts that come between the events that happen between Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross, and that is, I've never had access to being able to play Radical Dreamers, but you know, this will be the first time I'll be able to do it. if I go to the store and they don't have it available in the stores, I'm gonna just buy it digitally that day. I don't really like buying digital because when you don't have internet access, you can't play the games. So like if I'm on an airplane, for example, then it won't let me connect to the internet, and then I don't get to play the games, and I can only play whatever physical games I have with me. But this is definitely a day one purchase. It's definitely going to take a couple of months before me to actually get around to streaming it, but I'm so happy to have this game on the Switch.
Dashes and slashes.
This was the announcement for the announcement of the whole Direct for me. So this was the game that most people were very happy about. I mean, I'm happy about it as well, but like, generally the reaction around the internet is this was the only good thing about the Direct. We already knew about Kirby and the Forgotten Land. They just added some extra information about the game here. So here's mouthful mode that they introduced here. It's kind of like good game design here, because like the issue that you would normally have is, okay, you swallowed a car, he's going to get the wheel ability, or like, you know, this basically allows them to not have to worry about a bunch of different other features in the game. So you can still go as a car, you can still go as a cone, you can still go as a forklift, but you don't have to worry about like, well, how come I can upgrade fire but I can't upgrade car? Like, what's up with that? I'm sure it took like months of dev meetings to figure out how to come up with stuff like this.
A vending machine to attack with juice cans. Or become a piercing cone.
There are like 5 Kirby games on the Switch now that you don't play. Well, I've played and beaten and 100%ed Star Allies, and we had a period of time where we were streaming, what's it called? Actually, I don't want to go to the home screen because I think it's going to lose our place, but Super Kirby Clash is another game that we played on the Switch for quite a while. We're definitely not going to play Kirby the Fighters 2. It probably is a very fun game, but just like Strikers and just like Disney car racing or whatever, I don't like buying games that are kind of fad games that require someone else to play with you for them to be fun. Super Kirby Clash was different because it was free to download, and so I played plenty of that. I've beaten the game, done all the missions and whatnot in that. I don't know what other 2 games you're talking about, though. Those are the 3 that I know about on the Switch. Hey there, Beluga Whale. Welcome to the channel. Or not welcome to the channel, you've been here before, but welcome to the stream. Hey there, Schnydog.
As Kirby rescues Waddle Dees, Waddle Dee Town will continue.
I'm very happy about this. I really like progression in games. You know, like your Colony 6 and what's it called? Xenoblade.
Can be evolved.
And I'm also very excited about this. Like, see how the enemy doesn't flinch and now they do flinch? Like, power progression. Oh man, I love power progression. It's the RPG fan in me.
And make him even more powerful. Some copy abilities may have strong.
We're definitely going to get this game, and we're going to max out everything. We're going to find all the secrets.
A new adventure awaits our pink puffball. Who are the Beast Pack? What are these enemies trying to do? Can Kirby restore peace to this world? Kirby and the Forgotten Land launches on the Nintendo Switch.
I mean, of course we have to get it, because like,
pre-orders are available.
It's the first 3D Kirby game. It's not actually the first 3D Kirby game. That would go to like, what's it called? That one where you're isometric or isomorphic.
Please look forward to its release. Let's take a look at some more Nintendo Switch headlines.
I think this one goes pretty quickly, so we gotta slow down. Oh no, this is the baseball one. Definitely a skip for me. I don't really do the simulation style sports games.
任天堂スイッチ上で今回初めて MLB 打賞22が楽しめるようになりました。
DDD rework in Smash 6. Maybe.
That's right, Otani.
Unlikely.
MLB The Show
It's a lot easier to just take a character that already exists and make slight tweaks to him than it is to rework him.
And Diamond Dynasty on your Nintendo Switch. But that's not all. You can even play Exhibition with a single Joy-Con controller.
And I think the DD is pretty good in Ultimate already. He's the best version of himself. Well, he's been better in the meta at least, because he had like a bunch of infinite chain grabs in Brawl, but
on Nintendo Switch.
yeah, he's able to absorb projectiles. He can angle his Gordos.
No need to worry. You can invite them and play online.
It's good stuff. Kirby the Crystal Shards is not on the Switch. Oh, it is on the Switch. If I bought the what's it called? If I get the expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch Online service, then I can play N64 games, and then Kirby and the Crystal Shards would be on the Switch. And if you talk about that, then there's also Kirby's Adventure, or Kirby's Dream Land. I forget. Kirby's Adventure 3? I think there's Kirby's Adventure, which is on the NES. And then Kirby Superstar, I think, is on the SNES. So actually, there probably are actually like 5-6 games on the Switch that I don't play. I plan on getting around to all of them, though. Like, having the NES and SNES and 64 and Genesis in there is kind of like really rough, because there's just so many games. And I already have this backlog of games from like recent years that I want to play. And then on top of that, they keep on adding all these games from like really far back as well. I don't think Kirby's Dream Course counts, but I'll take a look at it maybe. No one appreciates it. It's funny because you say that after, as I was saying, that doesn't count. So the plan is, I don't really know when I'm going to be able to get around to all those N64 games. What I'm thinking is I might actually pay for the expansion pack. So I'm thinking that maybe now is the time to get Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, because I can buy it, and then if I get the expansion of the Nintendo Switch Online, then I get all those other courses as well. And on top of that, I get to play N64 and Genesis games. I'm actually more excited about the Genesis games than I am about the N64. But something to think about. So many unfinished games, I know. So many. I find that baseball game trailer bland. I think that if you were more into sports, I'm guessing, because I don't know, that you would find it more interesting, or is baseball in particular?
You're gonna have your hands full of games with these collections. 3 Kingdom Hearts collections are
I so
almost
wish that
here.
this were physical.
From Kingdom Hearts
I
to
would. This would
Kingdom
be
Hearts
such an
3
easy buy
and
if
the
I could just like
Remind
download
DLC.
it,
Every
save the
entry
information
is
onto my
coming to
Switch,
Nintendo Switch
and then play
as
it.
cloud versions that can be played while connected to the internet.
Or if I just like get a cartridge, or if they like sold me an expansion pack that I could attach to the dock so that I could play games like this.
And more for the
Like
first
anything
time,
that lets me
TV,
just own it.
tabletop,
I
or
want to
handheld.
own my games. I don't want
Kingdom
to
Hearts Integral
not own
Masterpiece
games.
for cloud, containing all 3 game collections, soars onto Nintendo Switch tomorrow. Each collection's cloud version will also be individually available on Nintendo eShop.
Like, I almost want to check to see whether the trilogy, or like not even, it's more than a trilogy, it's like the 6 games that you get in that pack are available on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 physical, or at least downloadable. Because if they are, then I can just wait until I finally own a PS5. But if not, then like I just had to like wrestle with the concept of, do I eventually just play it on the cloud version? Do I spend $60 on a game that I won't own forever? Like, what if my backlog is so bad that like I just never get around to playing it? By the time I finally get to it in my backlog, the service is shut down and I can't play it at all. Why would they do cloud only? Because the Switch doesn't actually have that much memory, so it probably actually takes up too much storage space for you to actually be able to play it on the Switch. It'd probably be like one of those things where, like on the Wii U, when they ported Fatal Frame to the Wii U, it took up literally all of the memory on your Wii U. So like you could only own that game, and you could only save to that game on your console. And if you wanted to play anything else, you had to like erase the game data in order to make room for anything else.
Klonoa is coming to Nintendo Switch.
Well, I've never played it, and I had heard of it before.
Run, jump, and hover while firing wind bullets to
It's
grab
probably
and throw
really
enemies.
good because
Use
you
each
know
level surroundings
they're
to your
from it's from that
advantage.
era where like their game developers were getting really good
Klonoa 2
at
is included. Take on
actually
these
doing
great
the 3D
adventures when
adventure
Klonoa
stuff.
Fantasy Reverie
Yeah,
series
Spyro
launches on
and
Nintendo Switch July 8th.
Crash Bandicoot, although that was like not even full 3D.
We're so
But like, you know, Sonic Adventure, things like that. I probably won't be playing it. I already have enough platformers that are on my backlog, but it's a good one probably.
glad you're here.
This is a good announcement.
Come
Portal
here
1 and
often.
2 for
Either way,
the
you're
Switch
in for a
is
puzzling
great.
treat.
I won't be getting it because I already own
award-winning
Portal
games,
1
the
and Portal 2
Gun is
for
your key
the
to
Xbox
surviving
360.
imprisonment in a
I already
mysterious lab.
streamed Portal on the
Create
channel,
portals and
so
warp to other
yeah,
areas
you
to
can watch
find
that at any time you want.
Still unconfirmed. You can pass through portals, and so can cubes, lasers, and robots with unnerving levels of personality.
Eventually, I'll get around to
The sequel
playing
adds
Portal
in
2 as
local,
well.
online, and split-screen multiplayer modes, and that part's no lie. Neither is the sentient robot monitoring your
It's like
every
it looks like
move.
it
When
was a
Portal
Bandai Namco
Companion
platforming
Collection warps
game,
onto Nintendo
right?
Switch
I
this
think
year.
that Kloana. It reminds me a lot of the Sega platformers, like Sonic Adventure or Billy Hatcher, things like that.
A classic comes alive.
So this one, I had no idea what this was. I still don't know really what it is, but when I saw that, when I saw the this art style, it reminded me instantly of Octopath Traveler. Like this could have come straight out of Octopath Traveler, the way that the bones are there. And so a lot of people have been like talking about like, oh man, like all these games, they look exactly the same. Well, the developer, Square Enix, developed all these games, and they just got through coming out with one of the best art styles ever, 2D HD, which they first introduced in Octopath Traveler, and everyone was like, wow, everything looks so gorgeous here. This is like 16-bit, but it's obviously not 16-bit. It's so gorgeous. And then they came out with Triangle Strategy, Live Alive, Front Mission, I already said Triangle Strategy, but like the idea is that they came up with this way of remastering games that are old to make them look like they're still old, but they're actually new. And it's been working for them very well. And I totally would like to see even more games done like this. Like, if they want to remake Final Fantasy VI using the 2D HD, I'm all for it. I think that that would be the best way of actually redoing all of their old games. It just looks so gorgeous. Release window for Portal, let's see.
It's no lie. Neither is the sentient robot monitoring your every move. When Portal Companion
Available this
Collection
year.
warps onto Nintendo Switch this year. A classic comes alive.
But yeah, so I had never heard of this game previously, and I think that they're going to say that this was only released in Japan earlier, and that should be a really big deal to more people. I missed it. There is no release window. It's this year. So this game looks like it's a action
Previously
RPG.
unreleased outside of Japan, the RPG Live Alive makes its overseas debut. Now in HD 2D.
Oh, it's called HD 2D,
Multiple
not 2D
stories featuring
HD.
Different protagonists and time periods await. The order in which you tackle them is up to you. Prehistory. A tribesman comes of age in a world without words. The Wild West. A wanderer with a bounty on his head fights for his life. Imperial China. A kung fu master searches for a worthy successor.
So a whole bunch of different stories to
Twilight
play
of Edo,
through.
Japan. A shinobi undertakes
Looks like
an
they've
important
got a
secret
map
mission.
in the corner there.
Present day, a martial artist strives to become the strongest there ever was. The near
I
future,
saw that they
a
learned
youth with
something,
psychic
like they
powers
learned to
takes
move.
stand against evil. The distant future, a newly built robot is swept up in a tragedy in space. What other stories are on the horizon?
You will repay my loyalty in death!
And I'm sure that all of
Live
the
Alive
stories
launches on
eventually tie
Nintendo
together
Switch
into some
July
super final
22nd.
boss.
Pre-orders begin today on Nintendo eShop.
July 22nd. I'll definitely get that.
How was that? Next up is this.
I don't like the pixel sprite designs. I love it.
It's a new iteration of the Wii
It's
Sports
just like,
series.
I think that it reminds me a lot of how well defined the pixels were in Final Fantasy VI. Like, you could very clearly see, like, each character had their own very obvious silhouette and, like, character design, and they were able to be very expressive. That's kind of the biggest issue that I have with, like, the newer stuff. Like, if you think Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 10, or if you think like 15, things like that, is that because the characters are so realistic, they have to be limiting themselves to like almost realistic facial expressions. So when they're showing emotion, they're showing like human emotion. It's not like over the top. Like you can't really see what they're really going through, you know?
Nintendo Switch.
This was
Sports.
everyone else's other
Please take a
top
look.
pick, usually. So most people were like, oh, I love Strikers
Here
and
are
I
the
love
sports
Nintendo
included
Switch
in the
Sports.
Nintendo Switch
And
Sports
Kirby
game.
looks good.
You might
The crazy thing
recognize
is,
these
I didn't
from
expect
past Wii Sports
anything
games.
from this direct. Because, like,
Tennis.
you know,
Rally
usually
by
everyone's
gently
always like,
swinging
oh,
the
you know,
Joy-Con
here are all the
controller
things
at
that
the
are
right
leaked
time.
and whatnot. And I avoid all the spoilers and whatnot, but still,
Roll the ball straight
there's
ahead
still,
or give
what's
it
it
a little
called?
curve. And Chambara.
I'm going to buy this game just for Chambara. Like, this gameplay looks super sick. Like, you get to actually sword fight with someone, and then the way you hold your Joy-Con causes you to actually hold your sword that way.
Your opponent off the platform while attacking and defending.
Also, I'm pretty sure that there are Miis. Like,
Plus,
you're able to
3 additional
customize
sports
the
are joining
characters'
the lineup.
appearances, as you'll see when
Soccer. Use a
what's it
gigantic
called?
ball to
When
make
the
dynamic
two
plays.
Nintendo directors fight each other.
Enjoy matches with Joy-Con controllers to shoot and perform diving headers.
Like, the only thing that they just have slightly more
By attaching a Joy-Con
human
controller to the leg strap
bodies.
accessory included with the physical version of the game, you can play shootout mode with intuitive kicking motions. Badminton. Control your shots left and right while keeping the shuttlecock in the air. Unleash powerful smash shots to gain the upper hand. Finally, volleyball. Use a Joy-Con controller to serve, bump, set, and spike the ball. The game supports local play with family and friends on one Nintendo Switch system, as well as online play across all sports.
I'll beat you in a sword fight.
Play against friends
I'm looking forward
online,
to it.
or opt for random matchmaking. The more you win, the tougher the players you'll face. Try taking on this challenge.
How was that? Since I'm already here, I'd like to show you some gameplay of one of the newly added sports, volleyball.
Mr. Takahashi! Oh, hello there, everyone. I'm Yoshiaki Koizumi from Nintendo.
Wow, Mr. Koizumi, I can see you're ready to play.
Alright, I can read
Alright,
chat while
I'll play
this thing
some
goes
volleyball
on.
online, together with Mr. Koizumi. Do you have your wrist strap ready?
Yes, of course. I've got plenty of space around me as well.
That's actually going to be somewhat of a problem, actually, for
Alright,
me,
let's
because
start.
I definitely do not have
We'll be
space around
including
me.
some live commentary throughout our match.
All right. Oh, we're doing this? Volleyball, a newly added sport in Nintendo Switch Sports. What can we expect
I agree
today
with that.
from
Anime
the
expressions
Takahashi
are possible in
Koizumi team?
realistic graphics.
It's Koizumi
Only
to
if the
serve,
art style
with
allows for it.
Takahashi up
Like
front.
if you, well, when I play through like Blue Dragon, you'll see it, and I guess you can also see it a lot in something like Dragon Quest.
Takahashi makes the block. Another one's coming. Koizumi saves it. A setup in the air, and here comes the spike. The other team saves it and fights back. And they score. Takahashi didn't quite get it in time.
I mean, look at their Miis right there. You see that they're clearly using Miis here.
Now the other team serves.
I don't think that those are just like stock characters there.
Takahashi sets it up, and Koizumi spikes, but it goes right toward the opponent. Here's another attack.
Bro, while
Now's their
watching
chance.
this.
They get the ball, and with the setup from Koizumi, Takahashi scores. They got a point with that fierce spike.
Woo. Let's stop our match here.
After all, we were in the middle of a presentation. All right, I'll be leaving now.
Who thinks they could beat these guys in any actual real sport?
Nintendo Switch Sports.
Well, I mean, they're like
The game
game
launches
developer
April
head
29th.
honchos at desk
We're
jobs.
planning a free update in the summer that allows you to play soccer matches with a Joy-Con controller and the leg strap accessory.
So they're probably
Use the
not
accessory to
terribly
play shootout
fit.
mode at
That
launch.
being said, you know, I'm a programmer myself.
We're also planning a
I'm not
second
very
free
fit
update
myself.
this fall that lets you enjoy golf. And now, a request to everyone. To help ensure that you can
I didn't
all
even
enjoy
mention
playing
their age.
online, we'll be having an online playtest before the game launches to evaluate various
I don't even know how
technical
old
aspects.
they're probably like only in their 40s, 50s, something like that. They both have color in their hair.
The online playtest will only be available for players with an active Nintendo Switch Online membership on the date
I'm gonna give them the
shown on
benefit of the
screen.
doubt. I hope
For
that,
those of you interested,
you know,
please
another
visit
10
the
years
official
isn't going to
Nintendo
make me
website for more details.
unable to play sports of any
Thank you.
kind. I'm a desk jockey
That's all I
myself.
have for now about Nintendo Switch Sports. I hope you're looking forward to this game. Let's see a few more Nintendo Switch headlines.
Huh, well, let's see. They were probably graduating college or like about to go into college. Like, I don't know whether they're like first generation or second generation, or like, I don't know how like long they've been in Nintendo leadership for. I imagine that they probably got their start maybe in the 80s. And they were probably young at that time. So, like, they probably aren't more than 70, I'd imagine.
Get those taiko drumming skills ready. The latest Taiko no Tatsujin game is coming to the Nintendo Switch system. Set in Omiko City, a sacred town for taiko drums, you'll strive to become a taiko master, along with brand new character Kumo-kyun. Drum to dozens of boppin' beats, including Megalovania, Gurenge, Feel Special, and Racing into the Night. And that's
I'll
not
probably
all.
skip this one.
An orchestral
Rhythm-based games are
version
pretty
of the
fun.
main
I've
theme
played
from The
a
Legend
good bit
Zelda
of
is included.
Stepmania, and
That's 76 songs total.
that's actually the main
Take
one that I
advantage
played.
of a practice mode to replay sections of songs as many times as you'd like. New modes have also been added for everyone to enjoy. Put on a live concert with up to 4 players in Danchan Band. Or face off against each other in Great Drum Toy War.
That mode looks really annoying, actually. You had to, like, know the song because you got the stuff
Drum to your
blocking
heart's
the
content.
notes.
When Taiko no Tatsujin Rhythm Festival launches on Nintendo Switch this year. Plus, a paid in-game subscription service that
Paid
gives you
in-game
access to
subscription
over
service.
500 songs will
Over
be
500
available
games at
launch.
launch. So, like, in addition to buying the game, you can pay for
What's
more
new
songs
with
when
these
you're in the
Nintendo
game.
Switch games? The brand new
Yeah, we already
tactical
knew about
RPG
this.
game, Triangle
Comes
Strategy
out
is
March
almost
4th.
here.
I actually took the day off. Gonna play it all day. But we're probably actually gonna end up streaming this before the release day because there's a demo available that has the first 3 chapters, or gives you access to the first 3 chapters of the game, and the save data carries over. So probably after we're done playing Brilliant Diamond, we're going to like start this playthrough.
To the end of Chapter 3 will be available on Nintendo eShop later today. Save data from the demo can be transferred to the full game once purchased. More Cuphead action awaits in the paid DLC, Cuphead: The Delicious Last Course. Here, you'll explore a brand
This is on the wish list, but it's been on the wish list for like a really long time.
The clever Miss Chalice is a new playable character. Take down fearsome foes with her double jumps, rolling dodges, and more. Cuphead: The Delicious Last Course wallops its way onto Nintendo Switch June 30th. A free update is coming to the Metroid Dread
I actually own
game.
Metroid Dread. It's going to be quite a while before we actually play through it though.
Even from this. Getting hit even once causes
Because
a game over in the brutal
I actually want to
Dread mode
go
difficulty.
through it in storyline order,
Can you face this new
even though I don't
challenge?
have Metroid 2.
And for players
But
new
I
to the
have,
Metroid series, take advantage of increased recovery.
You know,
with the
one is
newly added
available
rookie mode.
on the NES.
This
But I'm probably
free
going to buy
update launches
Zero
later
Mission.
today.
Metroid 3 Super Metroid is available
A
on
second
the
free
SNES.
update in April will add a
And
boss
then
rush mode,
I actually had
in which you'll
Metroid
battle
Fusion
bosses
on the Wii U
continuously,
already.
one at a time.
I should also note, by the way, that their easy mode doesn't actually make anything easier. It just makes it so that you recover more health when you take the energy, which is actually a really good way of implementing easy mode. Because like the only thing that really you should have is just like health. I don't think that you should like take away enemy patterns or anything like that.
Something's bound for Nintendo Switch.
Like the Cuphead graphics more than the 2D HD. That's fine. I think that that's also a really good art style. That old 1950s-ish hand-drawn art style. This is big ticket item number 3. It's actually kind of nice how they spaced these out. The Earthbound coming to the SNES. If I made a game, I make the easiest difficulty the hardest. There actually is a game that did that. I'm trying to think which one it was. I want to say that it was Ninja Gaiden Black. When it first released, I think that they like made a very easy mode in the game that was only on the US version, but it was actually harder than, or maybe it was I think it was just that the easy mode in America was harder than hard difficulty in Japan. I think that's how that story went off. I'll probably play this along with Mother 1. I should be hyped for this, but I'm not. I'm not hyped for it because like I actually owned Earthbound Beginnings on the Wii U and I could have bought Earthbound on the Wii U as well. But I'm glad that I don't have to spend money on it. So you just asked, will you play Earthbound, Stormy? The answer is yes. Asterisk.
Earthbound Beginnings will be added to
I
Nintendo
plan on
Switch
playing it.
Online
It's on
later
the
today.
it's on the list. It's a really big list. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's on the list. Yeah, that's all I can say about it. Zombie Army. I don't know what that is, but it looks like it'd be fine. Not really my type of game. Getsu Fumiden. This is kind of more my style, side-scrolling, action-y stuff. Probably won't buy it, but you know. Demon Slayer, that's an anime game. I haven't watched Demon Slayer ever, but it looks like it's pretty fun. Lego Brawls. This is another platform fighter. Everyone's got their coming out with their own. 2 Point Campus. I don't know what this is about. I think it's like some sort of like economy, build your own place, kind of like Sims style. I actually do play games like this, but I don't stream them.
What did you think? Here's some news from
The
Mario.
music slaps with the game shown are meh.
Many of you have been enjoying the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe game since its launch in 2017. So, we've been working on remastering select courses from across
So you
the Mario
found
Kart
6
series,
games that were
and we'll
worth
be
buying
releasing them
during
as
this
paid
direct.
downloadable content.
That's pretty
Please
good.
take a look
I
at
usually
this
just look for
trailer.
just one. So here's the Mario Kart thing. I've been holding out on Mario Kart 8 Deluxe because I have Mario Kart 8 and I played it, you know, a little bit while I had it. But, you know, doubling the number of courses, like I could actually start up at kind of this at an even playing field with a bunch of people. Granted, I've never played 200cc before, so I don't know how that's going to work out. But I've watched other people play it, and I kind of know some of the advanced techniques for it.
You may recognize some courses from past Mario Kart games.
It's kind of lazy though, because like when would I even have time for that? Between Unite and Smash and all these RPGs that are coming out, like I'd have to drop something. And if I drop something, it's going to be Smash over, because I already do that offline. I already play that offline with my coworkers.
And Tokyo Blur will be included in the first wave. Of course, you can play these courses locally and
Although I suppose if I were to play it, I don't necessarily have to like play it all the time. But like, I'm not going to buy a $60 game and then also get the expansion pass, which is more money every year, just to like not play it, you know?
Today on Nintendo eShop. You can enjoy this DLC at no additional cost with the Nintendo Switch Online Plus expansion.
So about the expansion pack, my idea was if I ever get into a lull, like let's say for example that in January I had finished a game and I was still waiting until March before I got the next big game that was going to release. So then I would be like, okay, well I have like, you know, 2 months to stream like just side games. Then I could pay for the expansion pack and then just like play a whole bunch of N64 and Genesis games. And then when it comes time to re-up my expansion pack subscription, I would just not, and I would just go back to regular online. That's what my idea has always been. I don't know if I'll ever get into such a lull. I mean, I don't think there was going to be... Well, actually, never mind. Now that I'm thinking about it, if this direct had not happened, then I don't actually have a really big game that I'm looking forward to after Triangle Strategy. But now that this direct has happened, I do have another game that you'll see at some point in time. But, you know, it's just kind of difficult to keep up with all these games.
8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass on its own.
And so, Alex, the thing they were just explaining there is if you already have the expansion pack for the Nintendo Switch Online, then you get the DLC for free. So then that's like $5.99 for 12 months, or not $5.99, $50 for 12 months. It's not the worst thing in the world. I do like the concept of you get this DLC for free as long as you use the subscription. Because if you play enough games, then it can actually pay for itself eventually. That's the issue that I normally have with subscription services, getting your money's worth. Like, I obviously get my money's worth for the regular Nintendo Switch Online because I play online with a bunch of people all the time.
And living to fight.
So this was pretty hype
That's
here.
the way of our world.
You got all these little swords and these little things that look like mechon, and that looks like an Aegis, and those are twin rings.
We're fighting because there are enemies to kill.
I refuse to believe you're him.
And so like I'm already getting like a sense for the weapons, right? So like you got swords, twin rings, you got some sort of warhammer thing. This flute seems to be pretty important.
You could try to move.
The little cat girls look kind of like Nia, but they're like much taller than expected. He's attacked with birds for some reason. He's probably a villain. That's too cool to be a thing that you can play with as a hero.
It's the only way you're gonna defeat the real
There's like so much potential in here.
Whatever life is lost, I won't let you soldier it all alone. What good filling up these flickering clocks in
We
our
got some Nopon in there.
The flame clock, it has to go.
We got some Tilethia. I mean, not Tilethia. Well, yeah. What do they call Hyentia? That's what they're called. And you got like the sword in the background, but so you get the sword as like the continent thing, like the Bionis and the Mechonis, but you also get the Titan. So it's kind of like a cross of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Xenoblade Chronicles 2. What? Origami and flutes are meh? No way. Fighting with origami is super sick. It's like that one woman from the Akatsuki. Granted, her showing was not very good in the Naruto anime, but the whole concept of like fighting with paper is awesome. And fighting with flutes is also pretty cool as well. Hey Pika, how's it going? This was a huge announcement. This is the other game this is the next game that I'll be looking forward to. September 2022. So we've got from March until September to finish Triangle Strategy. I get the feeling we might not actually finish that game in that amount of time, because I feel like there are 3 separate paths to take in the game.
That's all for today's Nintendo Direct. Thank you for watching.
And that was the whole Direct. Highlights, obviously, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And then Chrono Cross. Live Alive, Front Mission. We already knew about Advance War, but I'm still happy for it. We already knew about Kirby, still happy for it. Nintendo Switch Sports is a good announcement. Like, I had no idea they were going to do it. But, you know, I'm all for it, and I'm not, by that I mean I'm here for the Shambara. Because when I played Wii Sports, I literally only played boxing, bowling, and occasionally tennis. Like, I only played those 3 games in there, and the others weren't very interesting to me. I'm not going to play volleyball at all. I don't plan on playing soccer at all. Like,
the game supports local play with
literally, I might play bowling and tennis, but really I'm really excited for playing Shambara.
Play against friends on.
At first I was expecting the Mario movie teaser or Mario Odyssey 2. Yeah, I didn't expect anything from the Direct. Like, when they said they were going to have a Direct, I was like, okay, well, they're going to show some Kirby content, and they're going to show like a Breath of the Wild 2 update or something like that, or maybe like a Bayonetta 3. Basically, I thought they were just going to talk about games that we already knew about and just give them more details, and I thought it was only going to be 20 minutes. And then do their typical third-party stuff where they just kind of throw together whatever videos their affiliates gave them. But they really knocked it out of the park. Like, there are a lot of really good announcements here. Granted, a lot of them that I'm really excited for come from Square Enix, so Nintendo didn't really have to do much to impress me this time around, but they made most people that watched it very happy with the Nintendo games that they're actually announcing. Strikers, Earthbound coming out, what are the other ones people are excited about? Switch Sports. People are just generally very happy about all of those. Oh, Chrono Cross, of course. For me, in particular. You want some rankings here? Oh, let's see. So, like, number 1, Chrono Cross for me. Number 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. 3 is going to be more information about Triangle Strategy. Like, I didn't know that we'd be able to play the demo and then transfer the save data over. And then I wrote down the things that I was more interested in.
And now, a request to everyone.
In the Discord somewhere.
To help ensure that you can all enjoy
So I'm actually pulling that up real
online,
quick.
We'll be having an online playtest before the game launches to evaluate various.
Basically, if I added it to the backlog, then it's like a for sure going to happen.
We'd definitely like to ask for your help with this.
Going to the Future Game streaming channel.
For players with an active Nintendo Switch Online membership on the dates shown on screen. For those of you interested, please visit the official Nintendo.
Yeah, so Chrono
website
Cross
for more
number 1,
details.
followed by Xenoblade Chronicles 3, followed by Front Mission first. And then I'm intrigued about Live Alive. I'm going to get it because it looks like it could be interesting.
Nintendo Switch Sports.
So that's like 4 RPGs. And then Switch Sports. And we already knew about Triangle Strategy and Kirby.
What are these enemies trying to do? Can Kirby restore peace to this world?
So that's a good direct there. Wow, I haven't seen a bot in forever.
Nintendo Switch system,
Wow.
March 25th. Pre-orders are available now on
Goodbye,
Nintendo
bot.
eShop.
That was Kirby and the Forgotten Land, launching later next month. Please look forward to its release. Let's take a look at some more Nintendo Switch headlines.
My favorite genre is RPGs. Mine too. That was the best direct I've ever witnessed. Same. I need to like give it an honest shake and like look at some of the other ones. Like I think that still the best moment in any Nintendo Direct was when they announced Smash Ultimate, because like the reveal was just so nice. Like we thought it was going to be some sort of Splatoon information, and then they kind of like dropped the Smash logo, and it was just like so hype. Like I remember actually getting chills watching it. So that's the best moment. But the best direct overall is definitely this one here. Like anytime I get like a million different things added to my backlog, you know it's good. And you can kind of like go back and see some of the other ones in the past, right? So on the last direct, which was September 23rd, the only ones that I added were Knights of the Old Republic and Kirby and the Forgotten Land, so that's only 2. Although they did also announce at that direct that N64 and Genesis games are going to be added to the Nintendo Switch Online service. So I added a whole bunch of games from that area, but you know, mostly it was just those 2. The one before that was June 15th, where I added Astoria Ascending, Metroid Dread, Advanced Wars 1 and 2, and Rain on Your Parade. So that's like 4 games. The one before that was February 17th, and I wanted Samurai Warriors 5, which is on my wish list and still hasn't released yet, by the way. Still waiting for it. It'll release sometime. And then Triangle Strategy.
You'll run, jump,
So
and
like
hop
I've added more
firing
games,
wind
like
bullets
new
to grab and
games,
throw
to
enemies.
this one
Use each
than
level
almost ever.
surroundings
The
to
only
your
one that didn't
advantage.
was when Nintendo cheated and added N64 and
Also,
Genesis
Klonoa 2
backlogs
is
to
included. Take
to
on
the
these great
service.
adventures when Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series launches on Nintendo Switch July
I only like
8th.
Dream Team and Pokemon as RPGs. That's probably not true, because if you like Dream Team, then I can think of a couple of other RPGs that you'd probably also like.
In these award-winning games,
Like, there are a number
is
of
your key to
games that are
surviving
kind of
in
similar
prison
to that,
in a
where you have that
mysterious
kind
lab.
of
Create portals and warp
it's
to other areas
turn-based,
to
but
find
then you like has the action buttons and it's kind of
Still
cartoony.
You can pass through portals, and so can cubes,
You just need to like
lasers, and robots with
play more of
unnerving
them,
levels
or
of
like find them.
personality.
I think that generally people think, when people think RPGs, and I think this is mostly from RPG fans especially, that when people think RPGs, they think it has to be like the turn-based action time battle, where like, you know, you basically just keep on mashing the A button so you attack everything. And to be honest, I love that type of game. But there are lots and lots of RPGs out there. Guess what RPGs I like? Well, if you said you liked Oninaki and you are interested in triangle strategy, then you probably like things like Shin Megami Tensei, Persona, what's it called? Fire Emblem. What's a good action one? What's it called? Sword of Mana, or like the Mana
Previously
series?
unreleased outside of Japan, the RPG Live Alive makes its overseas debut, now in HD 2D.
I think that if you
Stories
like
featuring different protagonists and time
Pokemon,
periods await. The order in
then,
which you tackle them is
well,
up to
so the
you.
game mechanics are similar between Pokemon and Final Fantasy 13 2, and also Pokemon and Shin Megami Tensei,
Imperial
but
China
the atmosphere is very
master
different.
searches for a worthy successor.
If you like Dream
Twilight of
Team,
Edo, Japan.
you probably would like something
Shinobi
like The World
undertakes
Ends With
an
You,
important secret mission.
which is
Present
available
day,
on the Switch,
a
by the
martial
way.
artist strives to become the strongest there ever was. The near future, a youth with
Also, this
psychic
Live
powers
Alive
takes a
properly,
stand
I don't,
against evil.
they haven't, I haven't
The
seen
distant
enough
future,
of the
a
actual
newly built
combat,
robot is
but this
swept
looks
up
like it
in a
could be
tragedy
very
in
action
space.
RPG-like as
What
well.
other stories are on the horizon?
You will repay my loyalty in death!
Live Alive launches on Nintendo Switch July 22nd. Pre-orders
Oh,
begin
Dream Team
today
specifically,
on
so
Nintendo
like
eShop.
you don't like the other Mario and Luigi RPG games.
How was that? Next up is this.
That's a very specific interest.
It's a new iteration
Which is
of
fine.
the Wii Sports series. Nintendo Switch Sport.
Here, you'll explore a brand new Inkwell Isle. Defeat a bevy of new bosses with wild personalities.
Of course, I have the option. If I have the option, I'll make myself a
Face this
tank.
new challenge?
You know what game you have an option to make yourself a tank in? City
And
of
for
Heroes.
players new to the
Should finish
Metroid
making that
series,
character.
take advantage
Tomorrow's
of
City of
increased
Heroes
recovery
Day.
with the newly
I'll be
added
playing it
Rookie
for
Mode
about
difficulty.
4 to 5 hours.
This free update launches later today.
About 12 hours from now.
A second free update in April will add a boss rush mode, in which you'll battle bosses continuously, one at a time.
Need to stream Future Connected? Well, I was actually thinking bigger than that. Like, I was thinking like a full-on Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but I actually do the side quests this time. I have a better laptop now, so I might be able to stream more of it. Because my computer kind of died trying to stream it last time. But I'd also love to do Future Connected as well. Because I'm sure that Future Connected probably has something to do with Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 does seem like it's very connected to the other games. I don't know why the bot does not like you. Like, anyone else answers that and it just works. Do I remember Paperboy on the NES? I've heard of it, but I've never played it before. That's what Earthbound looks like? Okay. Yeah, I do know that. I've seen pictures of it, so yeah. Yeah, I have no idea why the bot does not want Emailer in particular to answer that question correctly. Like, and it's always been like that too. Like, it's specifically only Emailer not being able to answer just that one question. I wonder if it has something to do with the period in his name? I'm not quite sure. I didn't write the bot, so it's probably some sort of bug somewhere. Alright, so we watched the whole thing and the poll results are in. We have 1 vote for terrible, most of the votes are for great, and let's see if can I actually do the actual math for this? I think that we had 14 say it was great, and then 12 say it was good, and 1 say it was terrible. I think those numbers seem about right. We got 27 votes, and based on the percentages, that seems about right.
Salmon Run. A giant salmonid, one that's never been seen before.
I was a fan for sure.
Was also spotted at the end of the trailer. Will the Inklings and Octolings ink or swim? Splatoon 3 will launch this summer. We hope you'll look forward to future updates.
Hey there, Mighty
Let's
Muse.
move on to more Nintendo Switch headlines.
Oh, I skipped over front mission. Oops, I skipped over his front mission the other way. So I'm pretty excited for front mission actually, because like I have heard of it before. I've never played it, so I don't know much about it, but it looks literally like other games that I've played before that I did enjoy. It's like, I love Final Fantasy Tactics, I love Tactics A2, I like Fallout. So taking all of those together, like, it's just going to be very interesting, especially to see like how creative I'll be able to be. Like, am I going to be able to make a super frail, fast character? Am I going to be able to make a super tank that does a lot of damage but can't move very far?
That was the trailer.
If you're going to redo a long play, I vote Oninaki in English.
Salmon Run. A giant
It's got
salmonid,
subtitles.
one that's never been seen
There
before.
actually are multiple
Was
endings in
also
that
spotted
game,
at the end
so
of the
at some
trailer.
point in time maybe I
Inklings
will.
and
There's also a New Game
ink or
Plus,
swim.
and I didn't
Splatoon
technically
3
do any of the
will launch this
post game
summer.
on stream,
We hope you'll look forward to future
so
updates.
there is still lots to do in that game.
Let's move on to more Nintendo Switch headlines.
Because the whole concept of the game is about the death cycle, so... yeah, reincarnation and whatnot.
A full remake of the first Front Mission game is storming onto Nintendo Switch.
I wanted to have an option for meh, but unfortunately I can only have 4 vote options in the chat poll. I'm allowed to do 5 in the community post poll, but
Gain the upper hand
yeah,
in
oh well.
battle by aiming for enemy parts to destroy. Mix and match various weapons and parts to customize your Vanzer. Uncover the great storyline of this classic when Front Mission 1 Remake
Like, I wonder what
launches
would
on
cause me to
Nintendo
be
Switch this
indifferent
summer.
towards the Direct.
And in the future, the
Even
sequel,
worse, I
Front
have
Mission
no
2
idea
Remake,
what it would
will
take
also
for me
launch
to
on
say
Nintendo
this was a
Switch.
bad Direct. Like, I don't think I've ever seen any content by a game developer and thought to myself, this was bad. I wish that they didn't show me this.
From the creators of the Asphalt series comes
Like, I literally watched all 3 days of E3, like the whole thing, and I didn't come from that saying like, oh, this is bad, I wish I hadn't watched that. Even though there were very little actual game like previews and whatnot.
Sully for monstrous power.
Have a good night,
or
Alex.
For explosive maneuvers. Each
I'm gonna be
racer
drilling
also
over in like
possesses
Chrono Cross 3 for
powerful
7
ultimate
months now.
skills, perfect for turning the tables at the last second. Disney Speedstorm is a free-to-play game.
Yeah, we gotta make sure that our library is clear. We're currently finishing up Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, and then we'll get a head start on Triangle Strategy. And I think that we're going to like really take our time with that game, because a while ago I put a community poll that was like, hey, if a game has multiple branching paths, how would you like for me to stream it? And the poll, the answer that won the most was, I think that you should, you know, play one save file for one day, and then like another day you should play a different save file that uses different options. And I think that I'll do 2 playthroughs. I'm thinking like one will be what I would do in this scenario, and the other would do, I'll have like chat voting for what options I should do when it comes to major decisions.
Star Wars: The Force Unleashed launches on Nintendo Switch April 20th. Pre-orders begin today on Nintendo eShop.
So I think that that'll be pretty fun, because like depending on which choices you choose, you end up getting different characters in that game, very similar to Chrono Cross. So like it would be a completely different experience. I think the story content would be different as well.
And discover secrets of the Creed across 3 games.
Let's watch the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 portion. Frame by frame analysis.
Features for the Nintendo Switch system on the go.
The only problem with the Direct I had was the Mother games. It's understandable why Mother 3 wasn't there.
Assassin's Creed: The
I mean, they can just add Mother 3 later on if they want to. Like, it would be weird for them to add all 3 at once, because then you would just play all 3 of them and then you'd be like, alright, now what? Like, as a game developer, you gotta kind of feed stuff over time. Kind of the same problem with like DLC, although the issue with DLC is also that it actually takes the time to develop it. But usually when like people are asking, or fans are asking like, hey, I want this, and then the developers give them that, and then the next thing they say is, alright, well, okay, we already did all that now. We're done playing that. Now we want this. So like there's no point in doing anything fast. You may as well do it slowly. Alright, super slow speed.
Fighting in order to live.
When they first showed this, I thought that it was going to be like some sort of Xenoblade Chronicles X2 or something like that. Because then they could have said, oh, and we're also bringing Xenoblade Chronicles X to the Switch, which would have been nice, because I still don't own that game, and I'm not buying it on the Wii U. If they had to remake it for the Switch if they want me to buy it.
Ionios. Tell me, what would tell me?
What would possess you to side with them?
We're fighting because there are enemies to kill.
I refuse to believe.
So your troopers asked me, did I catch the name of the healer that they... But I didn't hear him say a name, though.
That's the way of our world.
Flutes are sick. I don't know what the issue with the flutes are. Like, think about The Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, or Ocarina of Time.
Ionios. Tell me, what would possess
They're called
you to
Ionis. So like, it's not the Bionis, it's not the Mechonis, it's just the Ionis.
side with them?
We're fighting.
Yep, I
because
saw
they're
phase units and I saw blades. Well, not blades in the sense of, you know, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 blades, right? And we saw weapons, but I didn't see blades versus drivers.
That's the way of our.
So yeah, like there are no actual blades following any of these, you know, what we would call drivers.
Ionios.
I wonder if this takes place on the continent that they all make for themselves, you know, after the water turns salt water.
I refuse to believe you're him.
I knew it. I saw this coming.
You aren't. You're not enemies now.
Fine for you, isn't it? All that time you've got.
You could try to move forwards again.
How can our lives be so snapping little to you?
They're not your friends anymore. They're his fuel.
Very open. Very, very open.
By a great sword.
Fuel.
Sword march.
Like, look at all that. How gorgeous. And all that greenery, and you're like on some sort of mechanical thing. Very similar to More Ordain. It's like a cross of More Ordain with the Gormati in the background, or Gormat in the background.
The land pierced by
Am I seeing
great
flutes? It seems like it's going to be very important to the story, which might be pretty unfortunate for you.
sword. It's the only way you're gonna defeat the real enemy.
That looks like, what's the name of that place? Fonset. Not Fonset Village, but like where it is, the Leftarian Archipelago. Like the lagoons and whatnot. I mean, I don't think that... I think that these are all going to be completely new places.
It'll never replace the friends we've lost. The flame clock, it has to go.
But like, they can use some of the assets in order to just remake, you know, a new game. It looks kind of similar to both of them.
To bore this world.
I'm glad that so like they're going to have Gormati and Hyantia in this game, which is going to be pretty nice. Like, so this is going to be the ultimate collection of Xenoblade Chronicles games. Also, she's definitely a flesh eater, right? Isn't that Nia? That has to be Nia, right? Oops. Whoops. I tried to zoom in and it didn't work. Well, I guess that's our show. I guess we can look directly at the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 thing, right? Also, I guess if we're giving all these predictions on like Xenoblade Chronicles 3, I should warn you about possible spoilers for Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, because
They're not your friends anymore.
Yeah.
They're his fuel.
But you guys are all, you know, frequent watchers of this channel. You should know everything by now.
It's the only way you're gonna defeat the real enemy.
Whatever life is lost, I won't let you soldier it all alone. What good filling up these flickering clocks in our eyes? It'll never replace the friends we've lost. The flame clock, it has to go.
I didn't see Melia anywhere.
Urobar
Oh, is that
bore
supposed to be Melia?
world. They must be erased without a trace.
I guess they became the villains after they both got their love turned away. I think it would be pretty interesting to get Melia and Nia on a team. it would be really, really terrible because they are both very squishy. But, you know, thematically and for, you know, what's it called? Purposes, like character enjoyment purposes. Sure that a lot of people would like that. I know some things thanks to Mr. Sakurai and Chucker Conroy. Yeah. Great stuff, great stuff. Well, I have about 80 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles 1 content on this channel, and about 200 hours of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 content on this channel. So if you ever want to catch up, you know, just turn the playback speed to ×2. I don't plan on playing the series, so I don't care about spoilers that much. Yeah. All they need to do is release X on the Switch, which they probably won't do anytime soon, because if 3's coming out in September, like, why would you put in the effort to put out X? Have we seen that pattern before? I don't think that's the pattern for 2. It's got like the display outlook, like this perspective is from Xenoblade Chronicles 1, but the background looks like the cover of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles fans go real crazy to stop the spoilers, and I love it. But like, they do things like they don't name the characters when they talk about it, when they're in comments and whatnot. They refer to them as the number in which you get them in the party. So like character 7, for example, and things like that, or character 5, depending on which game you're playing. A Xenosaga port, now I'd be super hyped for that. I think that they deserve some rest, but you know, at the same time, I would love to get Xenosaga 1, 2, and 3. Those games, like, when people talk about like super long cutscenes, those are games that really sell the whole really, really long cutscenes. Because those games that you play basically like 40 minutes of gameplay. You go through a dungeon, you beat a boss, and then you watch like an hour-long movie after that. And I eat it up. Like, I love it. But it definitely gives RPGs, like, it lives up to the reputation that RPGs set for themselves. Well, no one likes spoilers, but Xeno fans are especially careful about not spoiling the game for people that are experiencing it for the first time, because the story is so good that you want to not be ruined for it. I watch all the cutscene movies of Saga. Never played them, though. I love the story. The gameplay is also pretty good. I think that it has... it's very similar to... It's not very similar. It's somewhat similar to Final Fantasy X, where you have different characters that are strong at different things in combat. And it's also similar to Chrono Cross in the sense that when it's your turn, you can choose to do a certain number of actions per turn, and you can bank turns for later, or you can go into debt for current. And there's like this back row, front row thing that you do as well. And then like you're on a 2x3 grid in combat, and so you had different moves that like might hit everything in a row or everything in a column. So it's pretty good combat. It's interesting. I enjoy playing it, or I enjoyed playing it as a teenager. I would probably love playing it as an adult. But, you know, if I don't get a chance to play it, then that's also fine. I have enough games in my backlog. It is a good story, though. It's very, very convoluted and very philosophical, but it's good, though. To give you some perspective, the 3 games, Xenoblade Chronicle or Xenosaga 1, 2, and 3, they take their subtitles like they're from Nietzsche works. So like The Will to Power, also spoke Zathura, and what's the last one? I can't remember what the last one is. Do you recommend playing Cross before Trigger? I do not. I recommend you play Trigger first and then you play Cross afterwards. You can play Chrono Trigger on... Actually, can you play Chrono Trigger on the SNES? I don't think you can. Yeah, I named that one already. Also, Sprachzastura. And Sur Macht. And then there's one more, and I don't remember what the last one is. Games that I want to play from here. I actually sorted this based off of how likely I am to play the games. This is probably the closest one to actually wanting to play. I might play this one just because like it's a racing game, so why not? But like Link to the Past, Super Metroid, Yoshi's Island, Mario World, Star Fox is good, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, like these are all good. Or at least these are sorted based off of what I would play. And then they started adding new ones and I never bothered sorting them again. Can't play Chrono Trigger on this yet. It's very unfortunate. I have it on the Wii, and you can't buy it on the Wii either. Okay, We Shall Be as Gods is the first one. Okay, the first one is Reveals Sur Macht, so that's the Will to Power. You don't have to necessarily play them in order. Like Chrono Trigger versus Chrono Cross. It would be like playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 first, followed by Xenoblade Chronicles 1. And I'm sure you get what that means. And also, if you play Chrono Trigger first, then you get the added bonus of being able to play Radical Dreamers, which is a text-based, it's just a text-based game. And then that explains the stuff that happens in between Trigger and Cross. Oh man, we got 5 more votes in, and we actually got some people thinking that it was bad and terrible, which is fine. I don't mind that. Just very interested to see like why it was so bad or terrible. Like what would you have preferred to have happened in the direct? Smash is right there. Sure is. I'm probably gonna play some Unite though. Like after I ended the stream here. What now? Oh, I'm gonna end the stream for sure. I don't think that I really have anyone to. I guess since I'm not really playing any particular game, I could raid really anyone in my sub box. So let's take a look at who's live right now. I do kind of like the content here though, like having my thoughts on the direct even though it wasn't live. Trilogy is streaming Smash and Pokemon Attica is streaming Unite. Oh, she was streaming Unite. She's now doing Arceus. Not anyone in particular that I want to raid, so I guess we can just end the stream. If you enjoyed today's stream, be sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more from me, be sure to subscribe. Tomorrow, we're playing Brilliant Diamond. Maybe. So, Valentine's Day is on Monday, when my wife and I will be working, so we're going to go out to dinner instead on Sunday. So I don't know when or if I'll actually end up streaming. So maybe tomorrow's stream is canceled, maybe not, who knows. Monday is Valentine's Day. Maybe I'll stream, maybe I won't. Really depends on what we end up doing. Tuesday, Smash after work. So that's the 5-day forecast, so to speak. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. Oh, Super Bowl's tomorrow? Oh, nice. The restaurant's going to be very empty. Yeah, take care and goodbye.